Alright everybody, welcome back to Take Flight Garage. So in this next series of videos, we're going to be overhauling the cooling system on the 944. So stay tuned for that. But in this video specifically, I want to talk about the brand new CSF Black Series radiator that is specifically meant for us 944 guys. So this radiator is meant to fit both the naturally aspirated and turbocharged models universally, without any modification between the two. Included in this kit are a rubber foam gasket. You get different hardware for between the NA and turbo models, as well as the bump stops for the turbo. And you also get included these brackets, which are to hold that upper radiator hose so you don't have to zip tie it anymore. So that's really cool. So first impressions after having just gotten this out of the box. For starters, there's like nary even a bent fin on here, which is really impressive. So it's normal to get a radiator with a couple bent fins, even when it's brand new, just from shipping. I've found, I think, like 2 so far. So I think that's pretty awesome. The second thing that I am noticing are this thing is heavy, but it's also very high build quality. So for being something that costs basically what it would cost to replace an OEM radiator or any of the other billet options that I've seen, the pricing is very competitive. And I think this is the way to go. I don't know if you'll be able to use the stock fans from an NA on here. They should bolt up just fine, but you may run into some clearancing issues because this is definitely thicker than the stock radiator. So that's where that fan shroud kit comes into play. So speaking of that fan shroud kit, after having this radiator in hand, the fan shroud kit makes a ton more sense to me now. The hardware that I said wasn't included in that fan shroud kit was included with the radiator. So it comes when you buy the radiator. As well as the shroud design makes a lot more sense. You can see where we'll clamp around that sort of aluminum housing will create a seal back here for those fans, versus it's a little bit awkward sitting on the stock radiator, but it does work. And yeah, I think all together as one cohesive package is the way to go. Now, seeing how this is set up and how that fan shroud is set up, I think it makes sense the way that they chose to do it, where they offer the fan shroud separate in case you don't want it or you do want to do your own thing, because then you're not being forced to buy a set of fans that you don't want. So now after having this in hand, that does make a lot more sense. And also they did go back and change, I noticed that they changed their product listing. Who knows, maybe somebody saw the video, but they did change the product listing to say that the connectors on those fans are SPAL connectors and you're going to need to rewire them. So that solves a bunch of the gripes that I had there. All the hardware that I was missing from there is all included here. It's all brand new hardware. And that also makes sense to me now because this is all probably different threading and different size bolts. So it doesn't make sense that they would ship that hardware with the fan kit unless you were ordering the radiator. So in addition, you get a couple little decals, so that's nice. Cool to see CSF to do that. So yeah, first impressions, this is awesome. You're getting more than I was expecting to get. The product images only show the radiator. So I didn't even know that there were going to be instruction manuals. There are instruction manuals in here for each scenario, whether it's turbo or for the fan, for the hose bracket, all that sort of stuff. It does come with instructions. They're fairly straightforward. The gasket seal here, I was not expecting that to be included. So for that to be included in the package is awesome. So this is pretty much all-in-one kit, everything you need to do when you're doing a radiator, so you shouldn't have to go out and run and grab anything. So rather than run through the specs of the radiator and get them wrong off the top of my head, I'm going to go ahead and include the link to the radiator below to CSF's page directly, and that way you guys can read up on They're Black Series radiators, and they're different B-tube design for the rows here. This is a cross flow radiator, so that's awesome. Coolant will spend a little bit more time in there, and I believe this is also a dual row. It looks like there's a couple rows in there. So, but again, just to refrain from giving you guys any incorrect information, I'll post that link below, and you guys can go check out the specs for yourselves. Overall, I'm pretty pleased. I'm excited to get in the car, and I hope I hope this solves my cooling issues. If not, it definitely should be able to handle the Arizona heat. This is definitely the place to test it. So I have a couple more tests in mind, but I'll save that for another video, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.